What's up, everybody? It's just Nick WVLS, and I think everybody's new favorite couple hanging out with me today. Yes, couple goals.
Oh my
in case
goodness.
you didn't know.
Everyone's new favorite?
Absolutely.
So?
Like,
that's nice.
this is goals.
Oh,
This is goals.
We don't like the couple goals thing because we feel like it kind of puts us on a pedestal that's impossible to maintain, because when you start calling people couple goals, other people look for reasons to say why they aren't. So I like to stay away from it because we're so
cares
imperfect.
what they say?
Right.
That is
but we
very true.
understand. Like, we understand where it comes from.
Absolutely. So Khadeen and Devale are
Yes.
here, and thank you for stopping through the couch.
appreciate you.
We're back home in New York. And
Brooklyn.
baby,
Yeah.
stand
Yeah.
up. Stand
You see
up.
what it is?
So once we're back home, there's no other place that we'd rather be. So thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you both on all the success you have going on right now.
Thank
Wife,
you.
mother, brand, actor. That's
you.
juggling a whole lot at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how do you make time for one another?
Man,
That's a good question.
sometimes we don't. And we realize that when we don't make time for each other, that's when things tend to kind of fall apart.
Yeah, we don't do well.
We don't do well
We don't.
without being on the same accord. So as things continue to get busy, as life continues to happen, as we continue to walk into God's purpose for us, the things that we've been working towards, we just attempt to be more deliberate about
I tell
making
her
the time.
what I need. I ask her, what do you need?
Yeah.
There you go.
You know, it's like, what
That
you
part,
need?
yeah.
And because I'm going to tell you what I need. And we listen to each other.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
That's the best thing, because it leaves the guessing out of it, right? I don't have to wonder how my partner feels.
For sure.
He's very intentional about letting me know how he feels, and then it's up to me to be able to adjust accordingly,
Absolutely.
you know?
And everybody should take that advice in their relationships. It is definitely giving Aries vibes. So you know.
little bit.
You got an Aries
A little
and
bit.
a
A little
Sag
bit.
here.
Yes.
And another Sag.
And another
So-
Sag.
The fire sign. There you go, the fire sign. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a lot of energy to be around each other, because when
It
the
is.
passion is there, it is,
Yes.
ooh, baby, the
Yes.
energy. But then when things are bad, whoo, baby, the energy.
Well,
That's a
we
fact.
try to stay away as much as we can from things that are bad. You know, we try to use foresight and see, like, okay, something is not going right in this direction. Before we get to that, let's fix it. Let's pivot before we get to that. So we both try to use foresight and be in tune with each other's feelings and thoughts before they even have to say it. Like, there's a lot of times I can look in Kay's eyes and be like, oh, you look a little tired. Something is off. What's going on?
Yeah,
Do we
and
need
the
to take
same
a
with
break?
him.
And she'll do the same thing. She'll be like, something ain't right, bro.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, well, I gotta be bro. And she's like, because something ain't right, bro. And I'm like, it ain't. And then we'll talk about it. So
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so important. What's something, this is light. What's something y'all used to argue about, but you laugh about it now?
Ooh.
Amex
Working
Bill.
out. I mean, the
Both.
list goes on, but
Yeah.
both. For me, it was working out. It was one of those things where, so for the past 15 years, I've invested in our family for having children, right? So our
Sure.
oldest is 14, and our youngest is 3. So there were so many moments within having children that I would have to get back in shape to, get back on camera and do the things that I wanted to
Yes.
do. Devale, being so equally invested in my dreams, would say to me sometimes, okay, you should get up and, maybe hit the gym. And, I would take offense to it because I'm like, bro, I just had about 50, 11 kids.
Right.
I'm tired. There's things going on, and I just didn't make it to the gym today. And he's just like, yo, I'm just trying to hold you accountable. I'm like, I didn't ask for accountability. Well, did I ask for an accountability partner? Sir, I asked for a nap. But in those moments, it's nice to have somebody kind of, be there with you to motivate you as well. So we used to argue about that because I was taking it as an attack,
right?
When, it really wasn't that.
I'm like, yo, you go through your process.
Yeah.
I had to learn, the same way she said she had to learn to take accountability. I had to learn the fact that everybody's not going to do things the way I want them to get done. Everybody doesn't have the same process. And it's wrong for me to say, if you don't take my process, then you don't care about what I think. So I've learned to step back and let her do her thing, because she looks great. She doesn't do it the way I wanted her to do it, but she found her own journey and it's working for her. So I've learned to kind of let go of my idea of what she needs in order to be great in her own way. You know what I'm saying?
Right. The American Express bill, that's still up for debate.
That is still up for debate, because I still get the alerts to my email, and I'll be like,
I'm like, why don't you just turn the alerts off, sir?
and I just be like, why? And I just be like, why would you get this right now? Why? But we don't even argue about that no more.
Yeah.
Is that her love language? Is that part of your love language?
Shopping No. So yeah, that's her love language.
It's called gifts.
That's what she needs.
Gifts.
No, I think Khadeen grew up in a lifestyle where her parents always gave her what she wanted. Like her mom and her dad are the type of people who's like, if my children need this or want this, they're gonna work hard to get it. And I've seen her be the same exact way. But for me, I've always been a planner. You know, my dad has always been like, if you make $1, you put 75 cents aside and you got 25 cents. So it was just a change in ideology for the two of us. And we had to find a way to meet in the middle because I also had to learn how to take care of myself and have fun, right? You can save all day and then you have millions of dollars and you die because you're stressed.
Absolutely.
And then you can't take that money anywhere.
Absolutely.
So we just learned how to meet, like build this.
balance.
Yeah, it
Absolutely.
is. I mean, he was the one with the business acumen.
Yeah.
You know, and I knew how to book a vacation, honey. So, I mean, when the two met, it was the perfect marriage.
Yeah, but it was more than just booking vacation. She's also a hard worker.
Yeah.
Like she works just as hard as I work. So I understand her need to be like, well, I wanted to buy this just because I worked for it. And then we sat down and I explained to her the reasons why I choose to save certain things and put things in certain funds.
Right.
And now I have to tell her, you can get that. And she's like, no, I'll wait. I'm like, you keep saying wait and you won't get it. Just go get it.
Yeah.
So now the arguments are very different.
Yeah.
It's no longer stop shopping. It's go, babe.
Go treat yourself. Do
So
something. Yeah.
Okay.
It has changed a
Let me
lot.
tell you,
I mean,
everybody can
goals.
grow. Everybody can grow. You can grow and you can learn. It's possible.
Right. You mentioned your work. So you're an actor
Yes.
and Sisters and
Yes.
Satima.
Yes.
So how do you take, or have you taken your real life character and putting that into Zach's role, or
Wow,
reverse?
that's actually a really good question. No one's ever asked that, but it's actually a very funny story. After season 1 of Sisters, Tyler called me and he was just like, okay, I want to take this character somewhere. Where do you see it going? And I told him, I said, I want to play a character that has redeeming qualities. Zach was a bad boy dealing with recidivism, but there wasn't a lot going on with his character because his character was supposed to just be an ancillary character to a sister. But I said, I represent a demographic that doesn't get a chance to tell that story. So I want to see him go from recidivism to having a family and open up his own business and owning property. And Tyler said, that's going to take a lot in 2 seasons. I got you. And that's how we ended up getting his children come in. And he did it in a way where it still was close to the character and not Devale.
Yeah.
Right? So Zach, he was a little bit of a live wire, out of control. So he has different baby mothers, but he's trying to mature as a father and be empathetic to all the women and people in his life. And that came from Devale. That was what I wanted to create with Zach. I wanted them to see Zach as who he is, but someone building to be someone different.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And now that you're in the lead role, do you feel more pressure or more power?
I actually do feel more power. I don't feel pressure at all. This is something that I always wanted to do. We had someone on our podcast, Kaylin. He's like, I call him my cousin. I did a Christmas movie called Meet Me Next Christmas. And he was like, I don't have imposter syndrome. When things happen to me, I know it's because I work for it and I belong here. And I looked at him and I said, that's right, though.
Yeah, that was such a word.
Why do we sit back when something happens for us and then, of course, we give God the glory and then we say, I don't know how I got here. Yes, you do. You worked hours to get here.
Yeah.
I always said I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be a lead. And when Tyler gave me the opportunity, I was ready for it. And I'm excited about it and what's next to come.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations again.
Nah, thank you so much.
Zach attack.
She's like, that's all I need. Okay, that's attack. Well, Khadeen, I mean, being a wife, a mother, a brand is equally a lot of work as well.
Yes.
So, one, how do you balance within yourself between that and establishing your brand at the same time?
Oh man, so like I said prior, it's been a long time coming, especially focusing on, building our family, because that's something that's first and foremost for me. As a woman, as a child, even as a young girl, that's something I always knew that I wanted, a husband and children. So me, family is always at the forefront. And I've spent many years stopping and starting my career in a sense because the focus just wasn't there. The priority was home. Thankful for my husband who had the foresight when social media became a thing to start putting some of our videos up on Instagram.
Can I stop you real quick?
Yes.
I hate when she does this, right?
What?
Because women often do this, right? The first thing they have to do, like we just talked about, I gotta thank God, I wanna thank my husband. No, this woman is brilliant in her own right. She's an actor in her own right. She's the one who taught me and coached me from being a sideline reporter to an in-studio analyst.
Wow.
The same way I had a vision, she had a vision, and she walked us all the way through while having children. So I just don't want you to discredit yourself, like all these things happen for me and I just, no, you worked for it.
I appreciate
You graduated magna cum laude from Hofstra, got her master's degree.
Hello.
Worked in makeup. She's
my
an
walking
artist.
resume.
No, serious, because she does this and we've been doing interviews all week and I hear her do it. I just don't want her to do it again. Like she's very talented and she's not just a mom who's building a brand. You are an actor and an artist.
Yes.
Walk in it.
Yes.
Walk in it. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, baby.
So go ahead,
Look
do
at
that again. Do that
Look
again.
at
Do
How
that
can
again.
I fail when I got this man next to me? But that's why
We do
I
that
had
for each
to
other.
say.
I love that.
Because you should do it for me too.
Yeah, and that's why I
Yeah.
had to say my husband had the foresight because he knew what my dreams were. He knew the goals that I had professionally. So having someone who's like, babe, this is how we could potentially make this happen, I have to give you your credit for being that
receive it.
person that is helping me kind of mastermind and orchestrate our path
Yes.
to get to the things that we want, you know?
Yes.
So that was
see
something that you definitely did. And I'll be honest, at first I was like, I ain't doing no social media. I said, baby,
She did.
I said, get somebody
said
else
no.
to do it. You want me to put my life on Front Street for who?
Right.
Absolutely not.
In the bonnet. She said no.
Sure didn't.
She said no.
Absolutely not. But then I warmed her to the idea of it. You know, we went from having 300 followers to 3,000 followers.
Yes.
We had a picture go viral, then we
Yeah.
have a video go viral. And before you know it, you have a catalog of content that people are now referring back to.
Yes.
Right? So spending time with the family, building our brands. The podcast eventually came. The live shows, the New York Times bestselling book. I'm currently in a space now where, like Devale said, eradicating any idea of imposter syndrome from my mind. I am where I'm supposed to be.
Yes.
Because I've done the work.
Yes.
I've been wanting this for so long.
Yeah.
And the opportunities that are coming my way now, especially after the end of last year, I found myself in a moment where I was a bit restless and unsure about what was next for me from a career standpoint. And I had a call with my manager at the end of the year and he's like, you know, we want to gear up for 2025. What do you want to do? Like, what's next?
Right.
And to be honest, I wasn't really sure. And I had to be okay with that. I had a conversation with God when I was in Jamaica for the New Year with the family, and I pretty much relinquished everything to Him.
Yes.
I felt like in a time where I had to be still and allow Him to move and order my next step, that's kind of where I was with it.
Yeah.
And I got a phone call that changed my life at the top of the year.
Look at that. And that's how he works.
And that's how He works. And then I had to further push the imposter syndrome out my head and say, are you sure? Are you sure I could do this now? And he said yes. And I said, all right, well, let me get to work. And then I thankfully have something that I'm working on that is really exciting. I can't wait to tell you about it.
I know
what it is.
She has a role. She can't say what the role is or who it's connected
Yes.
to or what it's connected to
yes.
because of contracts
Got
and
it.
stuff like
Right,
that. But
hey.
she's an actor.
Yes.
And after all these years of putting her
Yes.
body on the line to give us children and build a family, she finally got an opportunity to walk in her purpose.
And get back to
And-
what I went to school for, what I've been wanting to do,
Yeah.
and I felt so alive in that moment. So I'm just looking forward to what's next, while simultaneously loving on my husband,
Yeah. Yeah.
loving on my 4 boys who are
Yeah.
all rooting for me back at home.
That's the word. That's the message.
Yeah.
There's a lot of women out there who don't know if they can have it all, right? And I'm a parent as well, and
Yeah.
so with our schedules, you know, life's sometimes. And,
Yes. Yeah.
And children are very vocal nowadays.
Absolutely.
And they'll say,
yeah.
hey, like my daughter will be like, I ain't seen you all day.
Yeah.
When we spending time together, and I be
Yeah.
feeling so bad. Like, baby, I got you this weekend.
Yes.
You know?
Our son tracks us on Life 360. He knows
Yes,
where we go.
seriously.
You said you were going here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I made a pit stop.
That part.
It's like having a husband and 5 boyfriends.
Yeah.
I have 4 boyfriends at home with my sons.
for sure.
Yeah, but the love is always there. And
Yeah.
that's Devale and I had to recently reassess why we're doing this.
Yes.
You know, people ask us, how do you juggle this? There's so many things. How do you balance? How do you manage? And we found ourselves in this hamster wheel of just taking every gig and doing every interview and being at every event. And we realized that we were just running ourselves ragged. And it forced us to kind of take a step back and say, hey, we need to really reassess why we're doing this.
Yeah.
This is for our sons to build a legacy for them.
Yes.
For us to attain the goals that we have personally and individually as well as collectively. So in doing that, we've realized that there needs to be a lot of less busy work and more deliberate work to get us to where we want to go.
I'm glad you said busy work, because I think a lot of times people do that, right? If you're not where you want to be in life, I know I'm that person. I should be working towards that. So you find yourself doing busy work because you don't want to be stagnant.
Right.
Exactly.
When realistically that work isn't pushing you forward.
Right.
We've learned now to stop doing busy work. Because the whole reason why we became entrepreneurs and artists is so that we could have autonomy over our time to spend time with our children and each other.
Right.
So now, as entrepreneurs and artists, we're telling our children we don't have time for you. It kind of defeats the purpose.
Exactly.
Right. You can't do that.
You know, so once
or
we
each other.
reevaluated that, it was kind of like, let's take a pause. I got 3 weeks. Kids, where y'all want to go, what you want to do. The minute we started to do that, more opportunities came. It's honestly, more money came. Because you also realize you block your blessings when you block your calendar out for busy work. Because when you got busy work, and it just hit me.
Rewind on that one, y'all.
It be off the top. It be off the top real quick. But I did realize, I'm like, we just creating busy work. And then when work comes that you really want to do, I can't take it because I already booked this to be busy. No, this ain't pushing me forward. I got nothing to do. And then bow. Wow. Because if we were doing the busy work, the opportunity she had.
Yeah. I would not have been able to do it.
The first question was, what's your calendar looking like for 2025? Wow. That's what the person asked.
Yeah.
And Kay said, it's funny you ask, I just freed it at the top of the year. And they said, I have something for you.
That's powerful. Yeah, that's powerful. I was just talking with someone about stillness the other day, and he was saying that, shout out to Major.
Major, we love Major. Yo, shout out to Major.
Shout out to
Major.
Yes. He said pace is grace, right? And that you find a lot in the stillness because we're always moving. And I like that you guys can take a moment to really reflect on your whys, because that is the key to find out what your why is. A lot of us don't know what our why is, and we just moving like zombies, baby. But and this is such a mature conversation. You two have really grown, and you can just see it and feel it. Like the energy is here.
Thank you.
Like,
Appreciate that.
I'm loving it.
It's the fire sign.
I'm loving it. Yes, but I love the fact that you were able to release it to God, and then He immediately answered your question.
Like immediately, instantly, and I was just like, oh, it's the dots are starting to connect. I put in the work. I had the faith. I was still and allowed Him to work, and look at where we are. You know, and it's funny you mentioned feeling. I forgot the word you just used, but almost like the growth and the elevation with us. Because with our podcast now, Ellis Ever After, that's been rebranded, it's like, wow, we're looking to have more moments like this. You know, having conversations that are more insightful, that are continuing to be positive, where
and
people can learn
forward.
more.
You know, I was saying, just to elevate the conversation, we were a dead-ass podcast, and it was jokes. When we started, we were still kids. Our family was still young and small, and we were just like, yo, let's make fun of each other. I'll tell jokes about being a husband, you'll tell jokes about being a wife. And after a couple of years, it became real serious because it became therapy. There were things she said on the podcast that after I went back and listened to it, I was like, you know, you're joking, but I didn't know you felt that way.
Wow.
That's so true.
And she was just like, well, I didn't know how to say it, but I could say it in a way of jest. And I said, well, we really need to approach that. Like, if that's what's bothering you, let's work on healing that. And then, after a couple more years, we were like, we don't want to do the battle of the sexes anymore. Like, it was a thing to be done when it was funny. And now it's kind of taken over all of the internet. You know, the 50-50 conversations, man versus women. And we want to put our foot down and say, we're not doing that anymore because we're better together. This is what happens after you've had those conversations. This is Ellis Ever After. And that's how we came to this point in our podcast, because if you really look at the way the world is going, most people don't get their news from news anymore.
No.
They get their news from social media.
Baby.
So we wanted to provide something different on social media that's not like everything else. Let's push positivity. Let's push togetherness. Let's push love. Let's push intergenerational wealth. Let's talk about how our generation is the first generation that has to take care of our kids and our parents simultaneously. How are we doing that? What businesses can we grow to help each? Because people often ask me, Devale, how do you invest? Put your money in the stock market. Go buy Nike. That doesn't work. In the 80s, you could tell somebody that.
Yeah.
Let's have conversations on building and nation building, and other people and other families can see how the Ellises went from a 3-bedroom apartment in Brooklyn to now living in Atlanta and owning our own businesses. Let's share. Let's not gatekeep.
Yeah.
Let's tell everybody. So
It's funny, I'm thinking about even season 1, 2, 3 of Deadass Podcast. If we were to listen now to those episodes, we may cringe at some of the stuff that we said
You
then.
should,
But
though.
I don't cringe.
cringe because of like where we've come, but
Oh,
just
yeah, I know what you mean. I
knowing
get it,
that
I get
in
it.
those moments we were just being honest and truthful.
Right.
So it's beautiful, I think, after
I do
cringing,
too. I know
to
what
then
you
look
think.
back at the journey and be like, wow, I thought
yes.
this at one point,
Yes.
but here I am 7 years later, 16 seasons in,
Yeah.
and my perspective and my mindset has changed. Some of the best conversations that Devale and I have had were, as a husband and wife, were after the podcast.
Yes.
Like you said,
That's
I
how
didn't
we came
realize you
up.
felt that
Yeah.
way. And we would have these continued conversations over dinner or, you know, about spending time together. And it really allowed us to force those conversations forward. Or if there were conversations we had privately, whether it was a disagreement or something that we felt was interesting, then we take it to the public forum that was the
Yeah.
podcast.
Right.
And be like, hey guys, has anybody else experienced
Right.
this in their marriage?
Right.
Or whose spouse does that? Or, you know, and
Right.
it helps you just feel like, I'm not alone in this life thing.
Yeah.
I'm not alone in this relationship thing. Other people are experiencing the same things as
Yeah.
me.
And it's the vulnerability, the authenticity that you guys bring with the podcast and just the conversations that you have. Because, you know, we all grew up with the fantasy or the false
Yeah.
pretense or perception that
Yes.
there's a fairy tale ending,
Yes.
you know, the Sleeping Beauties and all
Gotta be
that.
perfect.
Yeah.
And, you know, but I'm the type that's like, well, what happened after?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Okay.
I think I said that. Didn't I say that in our book?
So I think you did say in the book, everyone knows the story of Cinderella and how she got the slipper. What happened to Cinderella after her and the
Yeah,
prince
I
got
was like,
married?
fairy
That
tales were
part.
a setup, okay?
Well, fairy tales are only for the wedding. Fairy tales aren't for the marriage. Think
Yeah,
about all the Disney
that's true.
princesses. The story ends when they get married. So a lot of people, not just women, a lot of people aspire for the marriage. I mean, aspire for the wedding,
Yeah.
not the marriage.
Yeah.
And that's what we want people to see. That's why I don't cringe when I hear myself. I hear myself when I'm 25 years old, and I'm like, dang, I thought that. And I'm like, dang, there's some 25-year-olds now
That may
who
feel
will
the
be
same.
like, wow, in 15 years, I'm going to probably be like Devale because he felt like this, and I am this age.
yeah, if they do the work.
We talked about this with keeping Deadass on iHeart. And they were like, do you want to get rid of the first season since you're changing? And I was like, no.
Yeah, no.
Keep it up there so people can see how we evolved, so that they can
Yes.
see where we've come from, so they
Yeah.
can see how we used to argue and debate about trivial things and say, you know what? We can make it too if that couple right there was going through all of that and they made it there. That's why we want to keep it like that, you know?
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank
The
you.
growth, you can definitely
Yeah.
see it. You can definitely
Thank
see
you.
it. So
No,
I
I
have
think so.
something real quick and light. So it's kind of like who's guilty, right?
Okay.
Who's the better cook?
Not even
Hands
close.
down.
It's not
not
even
even
No,
close.
but he'll get on the grill though.
I'll grill.
He'll
Okay.
make a mean steak that I can't even eat no more. Turkey
Yeah.
burger.
I can grill. She can do everything.
Have you tried to cook anything before?
No, I can cook. The problem is I grew up in the South with Southern grandparents, and they used to make me and my brother and my cousin do all of that stuff and the chores. So when I got older, I said, I'm not doing none of this. 'Cause I had to do all of that. I had to cook and clean and wash bathrooms. I said, I'm not doing that.
Anytime
when
I
get
catch
back.
my mother-in-law now, I'm like, this is your fault.
It's your fault, exactly.
This is your fault, sis.
Well, maybe that could be like a date night idea where you cook together.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
he did
I
make
do.
me
I cooked for you
dinner
one time.
night. One
Was it
time.
good?
It
One
was
time.
great actually.
I did. I
And
made
then
you
after-
breakfast one time after you had Jackson.
After I had Jackson, yes, and that was it. That's all she wrote, child.
If she wants me to cook up, she was like, babe, it really would like turn me on if you cooked. I'd be chefing it up a lot.
Come
But she
on.
never said that she, wants me to
well,
cook.
now
it.
that I
Apron
know.
on, no shirt. Come on, you
You
gotta
are-
just
you
surprise
already
her.
know.
Come
I would- you
on.
already
That's actually
know.
a cute little date night in situation.
Now you started something. Watch this.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Watch.
There you go.
Yeah.
Watch.
Now look, you gotta
can tell
write
me
down
what
the
you want me to
notes,
wear.
Like Japanese, French, give it like different
I like that
types,
though.
and then
Like
let
a
her
little
pick.
index card, Joy, and then
Yeah.
I could pick one.
You would like that?
I would love that.
Okay.
See? And then you can tell
I
me how
did
I should
that.
dress
I
for
did
dinner.
that.
How
Now.
about that?
Now, I know I'm tend to go over the top with stuff.
Uh-oh.
Do not,
like
when I
over the
do
top.
this, say, Devale, you're doing too much now. Because
I
I like this idea.
I won't.
And I'm
I
going
won't.
to
And you know,
give it a chef hat.
we're almost 23 years in, almost 15
Wow.
married. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm always looking for something cute and new to do.
I'll
There
do
we
it.
go.
I like that.
I like that. We
I
can
like
credit
looking forward
that.
to it.
We can credit you with that.
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
I'm looking forward to it. All right. Who's more dramatic?
Not even close.
Absolutely.
Who's the bigger flirt?
Him.
Am I? I don't
think
flirt
you
with
are.
nobody no more.
I mean, we don't flirt with other people anymore, but you be
I flirt
flirting
with
with
you
me
all the time.
all
I
the
do flirt with you
time.
all the time.
Yep.
Who takes longer in the bathroom?
Yeah. Okay, but he
Come
be on
on
the
now.
toilet all the time, just sitting there. He do. I'm telling you, he does. But apparently, it's a thing that men do. Y'all go to the
Try to
toilet
get
to hide.
space. Try to get space.
And
yeah.
they just be
I
on
got
the
4
toilet.
sons. I be in the bathroom and they be like, do. Daddy, I'm like, yes, it's stinking there. Nobody told you to come in here. Like, and then sometimes I sit in there and my little one be like, Daddy, you're hiding. I'm like, how you know? Because it don't stink in there. I'm like, Dakota, leave me right now.
Hilarious.
I'm like, aren't your legs numb? I can't do that.
that part. Okay,
Yeah, you go
2
down.
minutes.
Yo, it's-
Legs
You have
shaking.
no idea what I go through in this house, man. You have no idea. I'll take them legs forever.
I'll put an
I
ear
can't.
tag on them. I can find you if you want to hide somewhere else.
Speaking of hide, who would survive longer in the wild? You already knew.
Absolutely.
She might surprise
She
you.
won't. She won't.
Dang.
We moved
Nice
back.
to know.
This ain't the
I'll
wild.
be like, beat me up, Scotty. Get me out of here.
This ain't the wild, but it was close. We moved back to Crown Heights in 2009 when it was still Murderers Row. And our first night there, she left her purse on the front seat. And when we came out, it wasn't there no more.
Uh-oh.
And neither was the window. And she called me and said, "How? Why? Why?" I said, "Well, why would you leave your purse on the front seat?" She said, "'Cause it's my purse." It was that moment I knew she wouldn't survive in the wild. I knew it then. Nope.
I was like, get me out of here. I want my driveway back.
That's hilarious.
Girl.
Would y'all do reality TV for a show?
We have had several offers over the years, but nothing has aligned with what we're looking to do.
We do it if we can own it.
Yeah.
If we can own it. Because
Yeah.
I'm never going to give the power of someone else to present my children and my family to the
Our
world.
likeness.
I'm never going to give someone else that power.
There's no way.
Never.
Yeah. So.
We've worked
It would
too
definitely
hard
be
together.
entertaining and inspiring.
Yeah,
I think it would
mean,
be.
well, you can watch us on YouTube. We have a Patreon channel.
There we go.
These are
Yes.
ways that we're able to control our content, what people see, people's access to it, to us.
And
It's
my
been
bad.
working
Shout
so
out to our team because one of them is here, my boy Josh, right there. He's holding the
Josh?
picture on camera. But we've incorporated in our podcast now a little bit of reality TV. So we show clips of our actual family life throughout the podcast so that people can relate to what we're talking about. So when we talk about a trip that we took, you'll see clips of those trips when you watch the podcast on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because we wanted people to really get the idea. It's not just listening to a podcast. It's watching us grow as a family.
Absolutely.
So for me, that's our version of reality TV, you know?
Well, listen, you two have been a blast. I feel like I could talk to you like for hours and hours.
I know, right?
I'm over here like trying not to slouch too much, but
Yes, but no. Again, thank you so much. I'm so happy.
Thank you.
Just to be in the presence of this because this is very inspiring.
Oh, no,
and
thank you so much.
like I said, I love the realness of your conversations, and I love the cheering, the back and forth. You can just kind of see
my
the
homie,
love.
yo.
man.
this is my
Smart home.
bestie,
Yeah.
my person. Since I bagged him 22 years ago.
She did bag me.
Lady,
too.
shoot your shot, okay? If you got eyes for somebody, shoot your
You shot your shot?
Oh, yeah, she shot her shot.
Wait,
Sure
what?
did, Benny.
She
Yes.
shot her shot.
Wait, how'd you do it?
Buckets.
What'd you say?
The funny thing is, she has set it up for a long time. We went to the same elementary. It almost sounds like a Disney movie. We went to the same elementary school, Bethlehem Baptist Academy, and she was a year ahead of me. This whole time, I had no clue that she saw me then, right? This is what she says, right? Now, I left the school in 3rd grade, went to another school in Canarsie, she stayed, but we both have brothers and sisters the same age. Our sisters still went to the same school. So we used to cross paths all the time. I didn't notice her at all, but my dad said when I was about 14, he was like, yo, I went to the Spring Fling in Bethlehem. Dude, was
Spring
a
Festival,
girl
yeah.
there. She was bad, she spoke so well, this is us. And I'm just like, right, Dad, like, you know anything about women.
Right.
Okay. Come to find out it was her. But we went to rival high schools. I was a football player. She was a cheerleader. We used to we found out we lived 5 blocks away from each other.
Yeah.
We used to take the same bus to school.
Same bus lines, and I never like bumped into him on the bus.
I worked at Kings Plaza, and while working at Kings Plaza, she would come by and stare at me and not say anything.
My
All of
cousin
this
used to
was
be like,
happening.
girl, just go buy some ice cream. I'm like, and then say what? I don't know what to say.
So I was being honored by the same elementary school that we graduated from, and she was hosting. She had just won a pageant that year, Miss United States teen, and she was the host. I walk up there, she walks right over to me as soon as we get out the car. Brian and Devale Ellis. And I was just like,
Okay.
damn, she fine. But I couldn't say that, so I was just like, what's up? I was like, what's up? Like, trying to be cool. And she was like, nothing, my name is Khadeen. And I was just like staring at her like, I can't believe she had a crown on and a banner. I was like, I can't believe this pageant queen talking to me. So I'm trying to be cool the whole time. And we spoke the whole event.
The whole night.
At the end of the event, I was like, okay, this is my moment. My uncle and my pops told me you can't be, thirsty. So I was gonna hit her with it was nice meeting you. Walk away.
What is this voice?
This is in my mind. This everything that's going in my mind. I was gonna hit her with
Absolutely, in your
the
mind.
walk away and turn around and be like, before you leave,
Girl.
can I ask? Stop,
Like a whole 90s music video.
Stop, I'm trying to tell the story.
Sorry.
You say you was gonna let me
All
tell
right,
the
you
story.
want me to act it out?
No, I was
All right,
trying to tell the
go ahead.
story and you
All right,
stopped me. This
my
is
bad,
my
my
perspective
bad.
now.
All right, go ahead.
Okay? So I was gonna go like this and be like, before I leave, can I get your number? But I didn't get a chance to do that. Because I said, all right, it's nice to meet you. And she said, before you leave, since you don't want to ask nobody for my number, here. And then she got my program and wrote her number in the program. And then closed the program. And I was just like, I love her. like, I was like, I can't wait till a day go by. Because you can't call the next day. Because then
my
that's
God,
thirsty.
Christ.
I was looking at her like, I can't wait till the next day. I'm about to call this shit. Right? Then I spent all summer calling her and she did not answer.
Oh, yes, girl.
Because
Now,
listen, girl,
now,
I'm saying
go
don't
ahead.
be trying to play
Now, go
games,
ahead.
honey, because I'm going to checkmate. There you
Now
are.
go ahead. Now
There
go
you
ahead.
are.
Now you can carry that.
All
on.
right.
And I won't
pass
interrupt
the torch, pass me the
until
torch,
you lie.
pass me the torch. All right.
Torch
so,
pass. Go ahead.
So what happened was that summer I had won the pageant, like you said, and I had a busy schedule. I was doing volunteer work, community service, all of the appearances and whatnot. And I went to pick up my sister from school one day, right? And he was picking up his sister.
Yeah.
And I see him walking with this chick.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
who's that?
Yeah. I had to
Don't look like his other sister. I thought I only known him to have one sister.
Yeah.
So I went home and I was like, there's no way he got a girl. Who is that? So I went home and I went looking for that program booklet because I was going to be like, check the temperature. Hey, I saw you today from a distance. What's up? And I could not find the program booklet.
Now listen to this.
So
Yeah.
I said to my mom, I'm like, have you seen the program booklet? She said, no, I don't know where it is. I went to thewhitepages.com
Oh, wow.
and I looked up Troy Ellis.
There was
Just
5
took it
of them.
back.
There was 5 of them.
Whoa.
A process of elimination based on location.
She drove
I said,
to the address to see my car. And come on, you see, I knew you was gonna leave this part out because you trying to be cool.
I thought we were giving the Cliff Note version though.
Wait,
No.
what?
This part
This
is
is
important.
like the extra long
She
version.
drove to my parents' house to make sure that was really my parents.
Past the house.
Nah. Knocked on the door. You did call
No,
my
I didn't.
mom.
I
You called my
called.
I'll give you
Yeah,
that.
I
You
drove
called.
past, didn't see his car. He said he had an '89 Maximus. I was looking for it on some
I was
Dubs or
stunned.
whatever.
I was stunned. A black Maximo, black rims with the chrome lip. I had 22s in the
'89.
back.
It was 2002 at this
It
point,
was
right?
old. It was old, but I was still stunned.
was
I was
moving.
stunned.
So I found the
me.
number and I called. I called because it just
My
so
mom.
happened. Now look at another God moment. Okay, I was sitting on the phone number for a bit and I was gonna call the house. My pageant director happens to call me within those days. Hey, I have this appearance for you to make at Hofstra University. It's for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society walk. You can go make an appearance. Guess who's going to Hofstra?
Yeah.
So I
Look
see
at
what
God.
you did there. I see what you did there.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
called the house, spoke to his mom. Oh my goodness, Khadeen. She's like, I have like the cutest picture of you guys from the event. Of course I remember you. I misplaced Deval's phone number. Do you mind giving it to me so I can give him a
Wow.
call? She sure did, honey.
Wow.
Yeah, so Karen Ellis, thank you. She gave me his number. I called him. I'm like, hey, I'm going to be at Hofstra.
Now you said, "Hey, handsome," and I recognized the voice, so I said, "What's up?" Because I was mad because you dodged my call for about 2 months, and then she was just like, "You know who this is?" And I was like, "Sound like Khadeen." And she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be at Hofstra tomorrow, right?" So on the phone, I was like, "Oh, that's cool." What she couldn't see was me outside going. I was telling all my boys, all right, so I mean, we can get together if you want to. So I mean, if I'm not busy, you know, trying to be cool.
Right. And we met up at that event. He was in study hall. He met me after, and we have not spoken since.
Every
That is
day.
beautiful.
Every single
Every
day
day.
for almost
I
23
love
years.
it.
Every day.
Oh my God, I love that
This my
story.
baby. This how much she shot her shot, yo. She did all of that. Our first date, we sitting there on my bed. I told my boys and my brother, I'm like, yo, I got this shit coming over. I'm 18. I'm like, I'm gonna smash. Like, I'm being honest.
God.
This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna smash, right? We was there the whole day. You ain't leaving till like 11:30, 12 o'clock. They called me, what happened? I said, I didn't smash. My brother was like, what happened? I was like, we talked.
The whole night.
He was like, about what? I was like, dude. She was like, what's your dreams? And I told her my dreams. And you know what she said? How we gonna get there?
Wow.
And that shit sat with me. Like, she didn't laugh. She didn't say, you wanna be on TV? No, she said, so how we gonna get there?
Because I wanted to be there too, so I was like,
Man, I knew at that
maybe
moment.
we could do it together. We'll see.
I was like, this is it right here. She did that.
Are you
She
married?
did that.
No, I'm
You're not?
I'm
Okay.
married.
Are you engaged or involved or situationship?
Yes, I'm in a relationship.
You're in a
I'm in a
relationship.
committed relationship.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Good,
good.
girl. I was about to say, if not, shoot your shot, sis.
Listen, I'm big on shooting shots.
You
I'm
got
big on
to.
shooting
You got
shots.
to.
It's giving Sag energy all day. I'm so
You
proud.
got to.
Absolutely.
I think
Thank
people should shoot their shot. So many people are
why
telling people
not?
what not to do. Don't do this for him, girl.
Yeah.
Don't do that for him, man. Don't do, and all of these don'ts. We did everything our friend told us not to do during the courting process. All of the red flags you see on social media, we both did all of them.
I'm sure we did.
Wow.
And now we have 4 kids later. 4 kids, and I'm still with my best
And
friend,
man,
y'all.
fun.
That's beautiful. And you can tell that you're still best friends, even after all this time.
Yeah,
so
that's my
what's
baby.
one word of advice before I let y'all go that you could give to couples who probably just got married or maybe 10 years in and they're like, oof, I'm getting a little bored.
Ooh, okay.
Pledge allegiance to your spouse, not your gender. So often, people say, I can't do this because a man wouldn't. Nah, I never do that. I'm going to do anything that my wife needs because my wife's going to do anything I need. I stopped pledging allegiance to genders and people a long time ago. This is my sole focus right here.
Absolutely.
As long as I focus on her, she focuses on me, we can do everything. Anybody else that has a problem with that, that's your problem.
Absolutely. Because marriage ultimately is a service-based industry, right? You are there to be of service to your spouse, to your partner. Because why not?
Yeah.
You know, the
Exactly.
answers to whatever's happening within your relationship literally
Right here.
lies within
It does.
between the two of you. So the outside noise, all the extra stuff literally has nothing to do with it. You are there to be of service to your spouse. And if you realize that maybe you're not married, maybe you're dating, maybe you realize, you know what, I don't want to be of service to somebody. That's okay
That's
too.
okay.
That's
Yeah.
okay too.
Yeah.
Take people out their misery. At least you can be upfront and be honest and say, you know what, I don't aspire to marriage.
Yeah.
So therefore, I'm just going to live my life. Or
Yeah.
I do aspire to marriage. So let me find someone who is worthy of me being of service to them. Because I know if I'm of service to you, chances are you're going to want to reciprocate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's listen, it's inspiring. Shout out to my single people out there watching. This is very hopeful, right? I told you I was gonna get something
Keep hope alive.
Yes.
inspirational going because a lot of the past guests I've had are into polygamy right now, and that seems to
really?
be like a trend or consensus going
That's
on.
cool
with some
for
of
them.
them.
Yeah,
And to each his
That's cool
own.
for them.
Yeah.
But it's good to see
Yeah.
people who still believe in monogamy. So
Yeah.
And I'm
Shout
glad,
out to y'all.
I'm glad that you had us on here to celebrate this because
Yeah.
it's also like monogamy's corny. That's the new thing.
Or it's
now.
not fun.
It's not fun,
Yeah.
you know, and that's not us.
Yeah, you
we
just-
I
you
probably
gotta
have
find
more
the right
sex than
person.
dudes that got multiple. I'm just being honest. Because a lot of my friends be like,
well,
yeah, I
4
got,
kids later, we can tell.
yeah. Marriage is fun.
We-
it can
we
be
were
sexy.
literally
It can
just
hanging
be invigorating. We were just hanging out.
And then, yeah.
Yeah. See how it happens though
we
when
just be
you
hanging out.
when you have somebody that's your equal that you can just. This is what love is, really. You know, and there's no number you can put on it. There's some people I see who are in polygamous relationships who look happier than everybody else, and I love that for them. I'll never
walk
take that from them.
truthfully. Walk truthfully in who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what you want.
But this
you
is
get
us,
one
though.
life.
Yeah.
This is us.
Any
This
more
works
kids?
for us. Honey.
Nah,
Honey.
nah,
I can't keep
nah.
I can't keep their plant alive, okay? I need to not be responsible for any other living thing. So four is where it is.
Nah, I'm gonna keep saying
Yeah, I
nah.
got serious real quick. Like,
Nah.
nope, flag on the play.
That's a flag. Red flag.
Thank y'all again so much. And what do you want to
Absolutely.
tell your fans before we go?
Oh my goodness. So first of all, thank you to everyone who's
Yes.
already been in support of Devale and Khadeen, the Ellis family, all things Ellis Ever After. You can find our podcast anywhere you get podcasts. You can also find our New York Times best-selling book,
Talk
We
about
Over
it.
Me,
Talk about it.
wherever you get books.
Yes.
What else? What did I miss?
Watch Sisters every Wednesday at 9 o'clock on BET. Watch the team are coming back. Baby got a show coming out. Can't tell you what it is, but make sure y'all watch that.
Please do.
Is that everything?
Yeah, just
and make
follow
sure
us on
you.
socials and all that stuff.
There you go.
Khadeen, I am.
I am Devale, and if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, no, I'm sorry. We're just so used to doing that,
That's
but
the script.
that's it. That's everything for
No,
us.
we
man.
love y'all. Thank you so
You
much,
do.
and thank you
Thank
for having
you.
us.
We
And sharing
appreciate
this
you.
with us. Thank you so